The U.S. has vetoed a UN Security Council resolution calling for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza for the third time, arguing that it would undermine negotiations over a hostage deal.
Will those in favor of the draft resolution contained in document S/2024/173 please raise their hand? Those against? Abstentions? The result of the voting is as follows: 13 votes in favor, 1 vote against, 1 abstention. The draft resolution has not been adopted owing to the negative vote of a permanent member of the Council.
The U.S. was the lone vote against a ceasefire resolution put forward by Algeria, and the U.K. was the lone country to abstain. The 13 votes in supporting the resolution included those of close allies of Washington, who insisted the humanitarian needs of Palestinians outweighed any reservations over the fine print. Washington was widely lambasted for using its veto again at a time when nearly 30,000 Palestinians have been killed and more than 2 million people are under threat of famine. The Algerian resolution also called for the implementation of provisional measures ordered in January by the International Court of Justice, or ICJ, in The Hague, which instructed Israel to mitigate its offensive to protect civilians, lift impediments on the flow of aid into Gaza, and take action against Israeli politicians using genocidal language. The U.S. has drafted an alternative resolution which calls for a temporary ceasefire, urging Israel not to proceed with a planned offensive on Rafah. Explaining the veto, the U.S. envoy Linda Thomas-Greenfield said that Joe Biden was in the midst of negotiations with Israel, Egypt, and Qatar aimed at clinching a comprehensive hostage deal. The Palestinian envoy to the United Nations, Riyad Mansour, called Washington's veto of a Security Council push for a ceasefire, and I quote, absolutely reckless and dangerous.
The veto of this draft resolution is not only regrettable after weeks of consultations with every single council member and after endless patience by the State of Palestine, the Arab states, and nearly the entire international community that for months have demanded a ceasefire. It is absolutely reckless and dangerous against shielding Israel, even as it commits the most shocking crimes, while exposing millions of innocent Palestinian civilians to its wrath and more untold horrors. It is not Israel that should be protected by the veto. It is Palestinian children, women, and men who must be protected by this Council acting now.